The Nigeria High Commission in Ottawa, Canada, has confirmed the takeoff of the rescheduled flight for the evacuation of stranded Nigerian citizens in Canada and those in Nigeria back to Canada. The High Commissioner, Adeyinka Asekun, gives detailed information about the challenges with the initial attempt and the prospects of the current flight, billed to take off from Toronto on the 18th of July.
The federal government of Nigeria had given us clear instructions that evacuation should be carried out by Nigerian airlines. And so Air Peace, as you may know, did evacuations for China, for Israel, for India, for South Africa, and a few other nations. We tried to get Air Peace to evacuate our citizens. One thing you need to know is that Canada doesn't have a very large number of Nigerians who are stranded. So countries like the United States, the UK, and the UAE can do up to 3 or 4 evacuations of a full aircraft from those cities, the key cities, to Nigeria, and will do it one way and it will be fine and viable. Canada has about maybe between 150 to 170 nationals who want to go back to Nigeria. To make a chartered flight viable, you need to bring in Nigerian Canadians who want to come back to Canada, because the cost of the chartered flight is fixed. So the more people you have that subscribe to the flight, the lower the cost becomes. Air Peace offered us $1,134. That was the price of an economy ticket. Okay. They also had a business class for $1,700 and first class for $2,000. It was a wonderful offer. It entailed conveying the Nigerians from Calgary and Toronto to Abuja and Lagos. However, the Canadian government would not grant Air Peace landing rights because it claimed Air Peace had not gone through the process of approval to land in Canada. So we engaged them on a sustained basis to try and get them to reconsider. It didn't quite work. So for that reason, that effort had to be aborted. Fortunately, everybody who had bought a ticket got a refund, both in Nigeria and Canada. So the challenge was for us to find another arrangement with an airline approved by Canada. Not only that, we couldn't afford to do something that would be excessively expensive. And people who have been stranded for a period of time cannot necessarily afford that type of airfare. So we looked for something that was close to what Air Peace offered. So eventually we've been able to get an arrangement through a consortium of aviation people based in Toronto, using and engaging Euro-Atlantic Airline, an airline based in Lisbon. So before we even went very far, we've confirmed from the Canadian government if this airline was approved. And once we were told that they were approved to carry out this type of flight into Canada, we began the process. Now we were able to negotiate a flat rate of $1,450 for this flight. But once again, it was predicated upon having a good number of people flying into Canada from Nigeria. Okay? So this time around, we made all the arrangements, we put the notice up, and we had expected that there would be a very enthusiastic response, especially from the Nigerian Canadians stuck in Nigeria, because we know there's still a number of them there. However, I think maybe based upon previous experience and because of the things that people have gone through, people have become a bit skeptical, a bit concerned about the viability of the arrangement. And so the response has not been as enthusiastic as we thought it may be. So we really need to let people understand that this arrangement has been confirmed and approved by the Nigerian government and the Canadian government. It was meant to go on the 10th of July, but people reached out to us to say the requirement for presenting a negative COVID-19 test result before boarding the aircraft was proving difficult for some of them, because Canada has different arrangements for COVID tests in different parts of the country, and there are different times for getting the test result. So some people said that they would not be able to get their test result by the 10th of July. So they reached out to us to say we needed to shift the date. So we've now shifted the date to the 18th, and we're trying to get approval to ensure that anybody whose test results would have been accepted on the 10th of July will still be allowed to board on the 18th. It's on our website, the details are on our website. But the whole idea is that this is a flight which does not involve too many inconvenient stops here and there. It's fairly straightforward. It's priced at a price that makes a lot of sense. It has the backing and approval of the two governments involved. It's as good as it gets.
Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyeama, stated in April that the federal government had concluded arrangements with two airlines to evacuate Nigerians stranded abroad on account of the COVID-19 pandemic. So far, many Nigerians have been evacuated from different parts of the world, and the process is still ongoing following the modification of the evacuation guidelines by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19.